finally getting a title defense. I mean, you've won this belt how long ago, and eventually you get a chance to defend it.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm really training hard for the fight as well. It's been a year, basically. Last year, February, that I fought for the title, and I've been trying to get a title defense ever since. So I'm really excited about this fight, and I think it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good, hard fight.
Since that time, you've spent, like you say, some time trying to get back into the cage.
Yes.
I think you fought at KFN, you fought at SFL, just to try and keep the ring rust away.
Absolutely.
How do you think those kind of fights that you've been able to get in the last year have kept the ring rust away and kept you in the zone?
The SFL was really great to do, great promotion and everything. So that was really great for my stand-up game, and really enjoyed that. Bit of a different setup though than MMA, but I also did a GFC. It's difficult to get the opponents, because even with the GFC fight, the opponent was not really, record was, I mean, it was the first MMA fight. It's difficult to get the female fighters, so you have to take what you can get.
But how does that work? You're a champion in one promotion. You're probably one of the most seasoned female amateur fighters on the amateur circuit.
Yes.
And a promotion's putting you up against a person that literally is almost debuting.
They are debuting, and it's the only fighters we can get. It's literally, I have to take anything I can get, and sometimes it's really frustrating because I have to fight out of my weight class. A lot of the times I have to fight heavier weight classes, because that's the only fights I can get. It's either that or don't fight at all. So yeah, sometimes I do fight out of my weight classes, fights so I fought out of my weight class totally, and it can backfire to do that.
But the big question is, even at your current weight, I mean, you're the current Bantamweight champion, yes. There's not too many heavier women fighting in MMA in South Africa, let alone the world.
Yeah.
If you're struggling to find opponents at Bantamweight, surely fighting at a heavier weight class is going to be even more of a struggle for you.
It is. But so what I'm doing at this stage is I'm fighting anywhere from 57 to up in 65, 67. So I'm trying, it's basically a 10 kg difference that I give myself. That's why I keep myself at Bantam, because I know I can go both ways. So it really depends on the opponent I can get. So at this stage there are a couple of flyweights out there and that kind of thing, but it's the opponents. It's really a struggle to find opponents, and even for like a GFC to fight on that promotion. I mean, I want to fight for the title fight there as well. I wanted to get as many titles as I possibly could, but I can't fight for a title against someone that's just debuting. I can't fight for GFC titles against someone that's literally just doing their first MMA fight, so they can't give it to me.
Let's talk about that weight cut, and obviously you say you're positioning yourself in bantamweight so that you got the flexibility to go up and you got the flexibility to come down.
Yeah.
So obviously going up shouldn't be really a problem for you because it eliminates the weight cut.
Yeah, it does, but in the past I've actually had some trouble to get up to scratch weight. I've fought Tamaya Thompson, I think it's also more than a year ago, and we had to fight at 66, and I couldn't get there. I just couldn't. My weigh-in, I weighed full clothing, and on the night of the fight I actually weighed in at 62. So it's really difficult sometimes to get to that weight, especially if you're training hard. You're still losing weight while you're training hard. So to get up there, people think, oh, just eat whatever, and it's not the case. I mean, you can get the supplements, you can do the workouts and everything. It's not that easy actually to gain the weight to fight in a higher weight class. And remember, they are cutting, so they usually walk around at 72, around there. So, I mean, night of the fight, she's about 10 kgs heavier than
Yeah, and that obviously works nicely in your opponent's favour, especially on the ground, and over 3 rounds or possibly over a title fight, 5 rounds, being punched 10 kilograms heavier all the time.
Yes.
It takes its toll.
It takes its toll, especially if you're going to the ground. I mean, I think stand-up, maybe the weight difference could not always be an advantage for you, because if you're much heavier, there's some cases where you would be slower than the other person. But on the ground, it does make a difference. Weight obviously makes a huge difference on the ground, even if it's 2 kgs.
Yeah.
it does make a huge difference. So when that goes for 5 rounds and they've got 10 Ks on you, you start to feel it. But luckily, I mean, I think most women in MMA, their training partners are usually much heavier than they are. So usually I'm used to the weight difference. All my training partners are men, obviously, and they're usually 10 Ks, if not more, heavier than me. I've been sparring a bit with Steve. I mean, he's at 90 Ks at this stage. So, I mean,
you're definitely getting some weight training in there.
Yeah, some weight training in there. So you get used to the heavier training and that kind of thing. But it is a struggle. I mean, I think the women in MMA needs to grow so much more in South Africa, especially, but all over the world. But in South Africa, especially, there's just not enough opponents at this stage.
So let's talk the flip side. Now, obviously, if you get offered flyweight shots or flyweight fights, the weight cut, do you generally find that a tough weight cut?
Actually not. I try to prepare myself. I don't like cutting last minute. No, not at all. And it's difficult for women to cut that much weight in any case, because we do retain more water than men. So I usually prepare myself. If I have enough time, I make sure my weight is on schedule. So I don't want to cut more than, usually I don't cut more than a K in a week before the fight. I don't want to do that. I've had 1 or 2 cases where it was very short notice. My fight against Cassandra at GFC as well, they let me know the Tuesday.
Wow.
To fight, and I had about 4 Ks to cut that week, so that was a bit hectic.
And how did that impact? I mean, a lot of people talk about, and the big word in the MMA community is that your chin takes a serious knock when you're having to drop that much weight. I mean, did you find yourself physically weaker in that fight?
I think for that fight, because that was before the new MMA rules came in, we still had a day before weigh in, so I was able to recuperate a bit better.
But still not 100% going into that fight.
No, that's why I wouldn't recommend it to do that much weight cut for women in general, unless, I don't know, other methods to do it. But if you cut that much water, it's just too difficult to rehydrate yourself, and you do feel a bit more sluggish, I think the word would be. I wouldn't really know about the chin because I didn't get hit that much in that fight, but yeah, you do feel a bit more sluggish, and so I wouldn't recommend it, and that's something I try to avoid completely.
Right, let's get back to EWC and your upcoming fight. So you're fighting a Angolan,
yes.
Antonia.
Yes.
She's coming down to challenge you for the title. You know much about her?
I do. I actually fought her before.
Okay.
So I do know a bit about her, about the judo. She's a judo champion, really good on the ground, and I've got a lot of respect for her. She's a good fighter, good hard fighter, and like I said, we'll see how this fight goes. It's going to be a bit different than my previous fight against her, because we'll be on the same weight, and that I think will make a major difference, seeing that her biggest boost is a ground game. She's got a good striking game as well. It's not at all a bad striker at all, but I think it's going to be a much different fight than the previous time that we fought. So I'm really looking forward to this fight, to actually go out there and really display what it can be to stand up against a ground fighter.
And your camp so far, how's it been going? Especially bearing in mind that Antonia is such a great ground opponent in MMA. Have you been focusing a lot more on the ground side? Escapes?
No, yeah, obviously escapes. I try to balance it out. So I've been working hard on all the aspects of MMA, and that's what I love about MMA. There's just so many things you can take in. So I've been working hard on my ground, yes, but my stand-up, I haven't definitely not neglected that part, because that is my strong point. I mean, there's no hiding that. But I think the ground, yeah, there might be a couple of surprises in the fight, seeing as I've been working hard on that as well. I know it's an area where I can grow a lot, so definitely I have learned a lot in the last couple of weeks and worked hard on it. So.
Talking your future, spoke earlier, it's tough for South African ladies, MMA athletes, women MMA athletes, to get fights.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not another year, irrespective of what happens come end of February.
Yeah.
But what's your long-term plans in terms of your career in MMA, and where do you see yourself come the end of 2019?
Well, at this stage, I'm ranked number 1 amateur female out there, and my record is at 6-1. So we'll hopefully that be at 7-1 at the end of Feb. So I think at this stage in amateur fighting, I need to start looking outside of amateur. So at the end of 2019, I would like to have moved over to pro, and I've already spoken to some people in the industry, so we'll see about going to pro and hopefully getting a fight in pro before the end of 2019. And well, I'm open for all promotions out there in any case. So I'm really excited about that because like I said, I think it's time to move over. Because if I'm staying at where I'm at, I'm gonna just stagnate at this stage. So yeah, I think the pro is definitely in the future. Hopefully.
The obvious question would then be with All Africa's coming up and IMAF World Champs coming up, and obviously you've been in the game now for a number of years.
Yeah.
You've been a notable omission to the SA MMA team that has gone over to World Champs, that has fought at, you fought at All Africa's last year, but you've been a notable omission to the national team going over to World Champs. Is that part of your plan before you go pro this year?
It could be. It all depends on the timing and everything like that. You can do your license and still fight at amateur until you actually do your first pro fight. So that would be my plan. I'm open to all options. I'm definitely not going, okay, well, now I'm pro now. No fights, amateur fights anymore. I'll take anything that comes my way. I love fighting. I absolutely love it. So you'll never see me turn down a fight somewhere. Sometimes I can be bad, but if I get amateur fights, I'll take it. And I'm even trying to wet my toes a bit in the boxing arena as well. So I'm doing Boxburg next weekend, just to get that boxing up and running as well. So I'll like to go into that area as well. So we'll see. Maybe get a couple of fights with boxing as well. So yeah.
Okay, so obviously final thoughts, the fight coming up 23rd of February,
That's correct.
EWC 11. We see you defend this title, hopefully go 7-1.
Absolutely.
In terms of what fans could expect to see on the night, you've been working on some new stuff, you were saying, potentially some surprises on the ground?
Absolutely, and well, it's going to be a good hot fight. I'm definitely not... I'll give this belt back one day. I'm not losing it. There's no way. And so it'll be a hard fight, and anyone who knows me is I don't give up. I just don't give up. You can have me in whatever situation you want. I will not give up. So you must be prepared. It's going to be good. It's going to be hard. And yeah, I won't give up without a fight.